Well, everyone, the Apple Watch Series 2 is one of those Apple Watches that came out so many years ago, but it still is a pretty interesting, not a case study, but it's still a very interesting watch that Apple made because it was one of the first Apple Watches that I used. I love this Apple Watch a lot, and I probably, in a lot of ways, could still probably use this Apple Watch if I really wanted to, as long as it was still working with the current iPhone. But I still think in this day and age, it's probably better off if you do purchase, an Apple Watch that's still supported. My I guess, fundamentals of any device is that as long as it's still supported with software, it's still worth it to some degree. And this Apple Watch, not only is this Apple Watch not supported with software, the successor of this watch was the Series 3, also is not supported with software. So you're kind of like 2 generations of devices behind, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to pick up those types of devices if I'm being honest. Now, if you want to pick up some other Apple Watches I would recommend buying, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of the Apple Watch Series 2, these particular watches I think look fairly good for the most part. Even though they have a little bit of bezel on the outside, they look and feel very, very good for the most part. The big thing here is that for, one, the bezel around this particular watch, there is a noticeable amount of bezel. So this is the big thing that when they went up to the Series 4 and later on with the Series 7, they started reducing the amount of bezel on these particular devices. And that is kind of what's going on with this particular device as well. So when you're going through and actually picking up a device like this, you're getting a device that does have substantially more bezel than, the other generations after. So that it could be one thing that could kind of, make this watch feel a little bit older. But even then, I don't think it's like that massive of a deal either. Going on though, the screen itself is not bad. This thing did come out in 2 different sizes as well, the 42 and then 38 millimeter sizes. Both very good, not much to complain about there either. The build quality of this thing though is still very good. That's one thing I love about these watches. They still feel very premium. On the sides, you have the digital crown, the side button. On the back side, you have that standard charging port where you can just charge up this thing as you normally would. So definitely some good quality stuff going on for this particular watch. And it doesn't feel like a cheap watch. It doesn't look like a cheap watch, like I said before. It feels and looks like a fairly good premium feeling watch that you probably expect from any other device, which is something that's really cool going on here. Now, some, not caveats, but some weird things going on for this particular watch. So for one, definitely the newer watches have a lot more features. So that's something that's a very big thing to keep in mind. You don't have the really cool types of sensors and stuff that the newer watches have, but this thing can still track your workouts, it can still track your pulse, it still has all that type of capability. In fact, I think my mom still uses an Apple Watch Series 2 and she still, rocks that thing every day and it tracks her workouts. It's still an unbelievable watch for her. Another cool thing that I actually like a lot about this watch is that you do actually end up getting the same band type of, feeling. So you can go through and use the same types of bands on this particular watch that you can get on the latest watches as well. So just because you're getting the newest watch or the oldest watch doesn't mean you can't take advantage of all the bands that are that basically Apple pushed out. So that is a pretty cool thing. Just make sure you're getting the proper size for your particular band. But other than that, that's still another really cool asset going on for this particular device as well, which is something I like a lot. So beyond that, on the outside, I think it's still a really good watch. The only problem is with its software. And that is, I guess, like I said before, the problem that you're kind of getting with this particular, device is that you're kind of missing out on the software side. It's not really getting any more software updates. And that is the problem. That is the problem when you're getting this particular watch. And I would hate for you to go and buy some sort of watch out there if it's already going to be outdated with software. And this may not even be compatible with your iPhone. If you're on iOS 17 and you're on watchOS 6 or whatever this thing's on, you're not really going to be getting or taking advantage of all those cool little updates that Apple's pushing out in the future. So this in and of itself is going to be a pretty big problem. And once again, I would hate for you to go and buy a phone if you're going to be in this type of situation. So once again, just kind of keep that in mind. And that's another thing to kind of just have to keep in the mind in the back of your head. I would also say beyond that though, the performance is also kind of surprising. I used the Apple Watch Series 2, I think up until 2020 or 2019 or something. And honestly, I had a pretty good time with it. It really wasn't that bad of an experience. But I will definitely say if you're going through and buying a newer watch, you're definitely going to be getting a better watch on the newest ones. And the Series 3 was a pretty big difference, I would say, from the Series 2. But the fact that the Apple Watch Series 2 can do a lot of stuff still, like track your workouts and all those other things, that is a pretty big advantage, I would say, for that type of watch. So I do think that in and of itself is a really nice thing. But if I am going to go through and buy some sort of watch, I definitely like having something like an Apple Watch Series 4 or above that is still supported with software. So I say that to say at the end of the day, the Apple Watch Series 2, take it as you will, but I definitely would look at that particular watch as probably being an interesting watch that I wouldn't recommend buying anymore. It was a good watch when it first came out. I still like it a lot, but I just wouldn't recommend anybody buying this watch anymore. It just doesn't really make any sense at all in my opinion. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.